was our MC. Cats used to sort of hate that Chuck wasn't a nice, you know, he ain't all that, he ain't a great rapper. This is when Public Enemy #1 came up. So what happened with that record was, Chuck said, Keith, we need to do a pause tape. Now I'm going back. Pause tape was, we had a cassette tape, a turntable, and because we had no digital, we used to have to pause the certain parts of the tapes that we wanted to release. And we had a cassette tape that had a 0.5 millisecond delay. So what happened was, I had to pause it just before the beat drop. So you get the bam, bam, bam. So this was crazy. So when we did Public Enemy #1, we didn't have nothing on. Chuck did the lyrics, we did it. Then we said like, we gotta put Rico on this. At the time, y'all don't even know who Rico is. He's Flavor. Flavor lived on the corner of my block. And he's always hang out with me.
William Drayton.
William Drayton. William Drayton lived on the corner of our block. And he used to come to the radio station and answer phones.
And he was always a character.
He was like that on the corner of my block with my moms hanging out. He was the same way that he is now. And from there, we paused up the Public Enemy #1. That became so requested on BAU, everybody thought it was a record. No, it was just a pause tape that we did. Chuck had some certain things to get off his chest. Now, mind you, this is at the time where the BCs is just out and running them, and the BCs they're blowing up, they run around the planet. And what they used to do was record my mix shows so they can take around the world so they can be up on time what's happening. Because you know back then we didn't have internet. It's like a record come out here, world was slow. Record come out here, a record come out here, it don't hit overseas about 6-7 months later. So we kept them abreast on all that. This is when Rick Rubin decided he wanted to sign just Chuck. So my brother goes in and pulls a crazy power move. Like, what are you gonna call him? Chuck D? You had Heavy D. You had Schoolie D. You had all these D's out. They had too many D's, so it's like he's no different than any other D. This is where the concept came in. So we said, well, if you're gonna take Chuck, you gotta put Flavor in with this. Because Flavor was the answer man. Now, from then, we still didn't have a concept yet. It was almost signed as Hank, Chuck, and my brother. Hank, Chuck, and Flav was the original members. Chuck came up with the name Public Enemy, came up with the whole logo, designed the whole logo, took LL's man, E-Love, in the back where he's posing like this, because Chuck was a great artist, took a photo, drew him, and that's E-Love in the back of the bullseye. So he came up with this whole group, Public Enemy. And that was the state that came to play. Now, within that, we had to figure out, we can't be just like everybody else. We're not gangsters. We're not like Rakim and them. We're not like Scott the Rock or Boogie Down Production. We was something different. So we took our experiences that we used to have on Long Island, that there was times coming up in the 80s where, the cops used to harass us like crazy. Whether we had a nice car, whether we coming back from Adelphi, because we had to walk sometimes because we missed the bus, and Adelphi's in the affluent white area. So they used to harass us as blacks because we're in the height of the drug game. Anybody with paper is a drug dealer. We're not. We're re-educating the youth and the community and everybody's mindset. Now mind you, that wasn't like that when we was DJing. It was about the chicks, the parties, and how many hot records I could play. That's how it really was.